It's time now for a look at latest in local news. Jesup City Council met last night, and Jesup Police Chief Mike Lane was released of his duties Tuesday night on a unanimous vote by the City Council, who met for over 2.5 hours in executive session to discuss personnel before the firing took place. Around 10:45 p.m. last night at the Craig Williams Community Center, after the commissioners returned from the executive session, Mayor Keith asked if there was a motion to adjourn, but instead City Councilman Stanley Todd said he had a motion, and his motion was to have the city manager release the police chief from his duties. That motion was quickly seconded by Commissioner Ray House, and the vote was unanimous last night by a vote of 6-0. City Manager Mike Dill says he'll name the acting chief shortly. The assistant chief is Alex Reddish. Mike Lane has been under GBI investigation for over a month, accused of sexual misconduct, but the city on Tuesday hit with a lawsuit as 3 former female employees of the Jesup PD have filed the lawsuit, and the defendants are the City of Jesup, Chief Mike Lane, and City Manager Mike Dill. It's a 33-page court document that contains vulgar language but was posted in its entirety on the WTOC website. Plaintiffs are listed: Patricia Brantley, Grace Straney, and Gracie Condard. All three in explicit detail outline the chief of police's and their accusations of pattern of preying on young women, female employees, including lewd, sexually suggestive comments and unwanted physical touching. Lawsuit details accusations that Lane tried to talk those employees into having sex with him. One woman says she felt humiliated and resigned. Lawsuit also outlines the fact that the Liberty County Sheriff's Department was asked to investigate the allegations against the police chief. That investigation found that Chief Lane did violate the city's sexual harassment policy, yet remained employed. In fact, he remained employed up until last night. Lawsuit filed in the U.S. District Court, Southern District of Georgia, Brunswick Division. Once again, the allegations in the lawsuit are disturbing, and they claim sexual harassment and sexual discrimination. Lawsuit claims that the city manager is aware of the accusations and failed to take any action to address what they call Lane's despicable conduct. Once again, it's a 30-plus page document. The city finds itself now in a place of defending the lawsuit. Chief Lane began employment with the city police department as a patrol officer back in 1992, promoted to sergeant and lieutenant, became chief in 2018. Patricia Brantley began work with the Jesup PD in March of 2018. Her employment ended in November of 2020, and in the lawsuit, she outlines a sexually hostile working environment, claims she was mistreated because of her gender. Grace Conner began her employment with the PD in Jesup in July of 2017. In the lawsuit, she outlines similar treatment and harassment. Conner resigned in July of 2019. Grace Straney began her employment with the Jesup Police Department in January of 2018. Suit says her husband was in the military, and she outlines similar stories of the other two. She resigned in September of 2020. In the suit, all 3 women claimed that they reported this to superiors, but nothing was ever done. On November 20th, 2020, Ms. Brantley made a formal complaint to the Wayne County Sheriff's Department regarding sexual harassment and misconduct. Suit says Mike Dill knew about the complaint and the Liberty County Sheriff's investigation, but refused to discipline or put Lane on temporary leave, which is required by the Jesup City Standard Operating Procedure. In the suit, it states that on January 8, 2021, Ms. Brantley asked the city manager why Lane was not put on administrative leave since he was under investigation. Suit claims that Deal in response said, quote, "That's my decision," and claimed administrative leave would only occur if someone was arrested. Suit claims that after the conversation, the city manager changed the standard operating procedure to remove the leave requirement for employees under investigation. Suit claims Deal changed the policy in order to protect Lane. In the City Jesup's Code of Ordinance, the city manager is the highest ranking official with the final policy-making authority to promote, appoint, discipline, and take other personnel actions affecting employees of the Jesup Police, or the City of Jesup, including Chief Lane. Lawsuit clearly states, despite that all occurred, defendant Lane was never disciplined for a sexual harassment of Ms. Brantley. Suit outlines the findings of the Liberty County Sheriff's investigation into the allegations against Mike Lane. And in the investigation, the Sheriff's Department from Liberty County questioned Chief Mike Lane. The report says the chief admitted that he had some inappropriate sexual in nature conversations with Ms. Brantley and admits to conversations that Ms. Brantley accused him of, but Lane explains that he was talking about another female other than Ms. Brantley. Liberty County investigation ultimately concluded that Lane, in fact, had inappropriate sexual conversation with his employee in violation of the City of Jesup's sexual harassment policy. Liberty County investigation also concluded and verified that Ms. Brantley notified more than one supervisor over the course of 2 years about the sexual harassment, and that the supervisors failed to report the complaints. Once again, the court document is public record and it's been put on the website for all to read. It's an ugly story told by 3 women who worked under Chief Lane. It appears that enough was enough on Tuesday night for the city council to take appropriate action, as they did last night, firing the police chief on a unanimous 6-0 vote after a very lengthy executive session. And WIFO will continue to follow the story as it develops. City manager likely to name an acting police chief today. At last report, the GBI is still investigating this incident. The question is, where's that report and what did they find? We'll be back with more news after this word from our sponsor and other commercial messages, so please stay tuned. In other news, the Wayne County Board of Education has met for 3 days interviewing candidates interested in becoming Wayne County's next school superintendent. The interviews conducted last Friday, this Monday, and Tuesday at the Wayne County Airport. WIFO was able to catch up with Board Chairman Nick Ellis to get an update on the board's progress. Here, Chairman Nick Ellis, the board's conducted 3 days of interviews with candidates. Tell us what the progress is.
Well, we have concluded our first round of interviews. We are getting ready to present those lists of names that will make it to the second round to Georgia School Board Association. They'll work through that process of continuing to vet those individuals to gather information and facts and details about those information. So they'll be researching social media, their current work status, where they're working at, looking at further references of each individual candidate. And we will begin second round on Friday morning, starting at 8 o'clock, and we will conclude second round on Monday, again at 8 o'clock. At this time, we're preparing to make a presentation to the community on next Tuesday at our board meeting. It's tentative right now, considering how the second round interviews go. If we're ready to make that presentation, we will make that presentation. We're going to go ahead and add it as a bullet item on the agenda and prepare. I'll just kind of share with you each candidate that came in to interview had an opportunity to interview with the board for a little over. Some candidates interviewed for an hour, some interviewed for an hour and 30 minutes, depending on what they had to offer and how they answered the questions. We reviewed their training, licensure, and education. We talked to them about their experience. We talked to them about the vision, mission, and beliefs of our school district, because most importantly, if any individual is going to come here, they've got to be a part of our vision, mission, and beliefs. Leading and learning how they want to set up those components and model those throughout our 8 schools within our district. We've also talked to them about the operation and management of organizational systems. Yes, instruction and curriculum is one key component to our school district, but we got maintenance and transportation, athletics. We wanted to get their ideas on technology and dealing with our local budget and our eSPLOS and what kind of experience they had in capital projects. And so we dug deep into them answering questions not just about curriculum and instruction, but about those other key important things in the district. We also talked to them about collaborating and communicating with multiple stakeholders. We feel that the candidate that's going to take this job after Dr. Brinson is going to be just as involved in this community as he was, if not more. And so we want that to be an important factor. We expressed that as a board, that we want our superintendent to be able to be involved in our community. We also talked about ethical principles and professionalism. You know, we're living in this time where social justice and people having their rights and people being protected in their rights, regardless of their race, discrimination, their sex, anything like that, that the person that's going to come in is going to look at that and value each individual, not because of what they are or what color they are, but what we are supposed to be providing our students and our staff.
So number-wise, where are we at right now? How many are going to make the second round of the interview?
Well, I can't give you a direct number. I'll tell you, we indicated 15 individuals. We interviewed a lot of individuals, and I can't give you a number until we're ready to narrow down to the finalists, but we're not where we started. We have decreased, and we're headed in a good direction. I think that we're in a very fortunate situation, and I can tell you that this board is committed to finding the best candidate for our district, whether that person be from a local position, or they be from a regional position, or they be from a state or a national position. We're going to get the best candidate, and we value the input of this community. We appreciate the surveys. We've spent time to look through those surveys, listen to the input of our community stakeholders, also our teacher leader stakeholders. We've listened to our student advisory board, and we're going to continue this work into the second round.
Was the chairman, from what you've seen so far, do you feel confident you'll have a qualified candidate?
I feel we're going to have a highly qualified candidate. We interviewed a lot of candidates. Every candidate has something that they can offer Wayne County, but again, it's about pulling all these pieces together. When we review these 9 indicators that Georgia School Board helped this board identify as what we need to help, select our person, they need to meet all of those standards of this process.
Okay, we thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
And once again, those comments of School Board Chairman Nick Ellis, who says round 2 of those interview process begins this Friday. We're expected to have a new superintendent hired by the 1st of March of this year. We'll come back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor, the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final notes and news, community blood drive scheduled for tomorrow at the VFW from 2 to 7 p.m. The Red Cross stressing how important these community blood drives are and encourage anyone who has a chance to give the gift of life a pint of blood. Again, that's tomorrow from 2 to 7 at the VFW. Probate Judge Tammy Thornton states the City of Odom has opted to open back up the qualifying period for that special election to fill the City Council seat that's been left vacant with the resignation of William McLaughlin. Thornton says the qualifying period will run next Monday up until Wednesday at 12 noon. Fee $7.50. And Wayne Memorial Hospital and St. Joseph's Candler Physician Associates pleased to announce Dr. Stephen Roth, OBGYN, as a new addition to the group. His office is located here in Jesup at 930 South 1st Street. He can be reached by calling 912-559-2432. Board-certified physician, Dr. Roth has over 27 years of experience in the diagnosis and treatment for a wide range of women's health issues. After graduating cum laude from the University of South Florida, Dr. Roth also completed his medical degree at the University of South Florida in Tampa, Florida. His specialty training was completed at the University of Alabama at Birmingham and Caraway Methodist Medical Center in Birmingham, Alabama. A fellow of the American College of Obstetrics and Gynecology, Dr. Roth previously served as the chief of staff at Citrus Memorial Hospital in Florida. Dr. Roth shares his professional goal. He says, provide the best possible care for my patients through compassion, critical thinking, and extensive experience in women's health. Once again, his office is located at 930 South 1st Street. Again, he can be reached by calling 912-559-2432. That's going to do it for latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morgan, have a great day.